you always have to do outreach and building your brand no matter what. I read through it and I was like, fuck, this guy's crazy.
How much were you making before joining, and how much are you making now?
Literally at zero before I joined your program. And then in literally a matter of a week, I am now at 4.6 grand per month. I was pretty much a bitch to every single prospect. So my advice to editors is you gotta understand that.
Okay, so first of all, I think we can just do a normal flex right now. Let's go. Bam! Okay, so can you introduce yourself and tell us more about your video editing journey before joining my coaching program?
My name is Derek Wynn. I'm a 20-year-old college student, still in uni right now. And I was just basically on my editing journey, just casually. But then 35 days ago, I realized that I needed to go on internship, which I hate with every bone in my body. After I just lost my first, well, not my first client, but my biggest client, I decided to like, fuck it, I need to team up with Haddad, and here I am.
Awesome. What were you earning before you started?
With my biggest client back then, it was about 2 grand per month. But literally, like 3 days before I joined your program, I lost that client, so I was basically back at zero. So yeah, you could say that I was literally at zero before I joined your program.
And what was your goal when you were at zero?
So before I joined your program, with the internship thing, so I really wanted to prove myself that I can make out of something meaningful rather than just going on like a predetermined path. So I thought like, okay, why not just set a goal at least affordable for rent, groceries and stuff like that? The average salary of like a normal person here in the West. So I thought like, okay, 5 grand could be good. So I set myself a goal, set myself on that challenge, and yeah, 5 grand per month before I joined your program.
And before joining, what was the biggest thing holding you back?
The biggest thing holding me back then was for sure lead flow. I didn't really understand how like to actually obtain high ticket leads. Back then I was still like on and off between low ticket ones and high ticket ones. I'm still a part of VP Plus, which is an amazing community by the way. They teach Dream 100 and stuff like that, which I appreciate a lot. But the thing that really like blew my mind about your coaching program really is about like client acquisition and how like deep the rabbit hole goes when it comes to this stuff. And yeah, that really like shifted my career, I guess.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How did you feel like putting in the time and effort without landing high ticket leads, like without having big financial results before?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think being in the low ticket hell was really frustrating by the fact that you are unsure all the time with them, because they're not very committed to you and you're not very sure. You're just a little editor in their like world. They can drop you at any moment and they're always like really picky on your edits. They nitpick all the time. It just becomes like a whole waste of time basically because you're not earning as much. You're working fucking 10 hours per day and gaining only like what, $50 per video. Even though per video, let's say like $50 per video, doesn't sound that bad at the beginning. But when you really think about it though, it is literally the lowest paying by dollar per hour task that you can actually do if you average, let's say, $50 per video that you spent 10 hours for, so at that moment I thought like, okay, there's something
Yes.
wrong that I'm doing.
It's even better to work a 9 to 5 than being into that space. I will be honest. At least in a 9 to 5 you are chill, but being in a low ticket hell, it's like the client is also messaging you, spamming you, giving you revisions, you don't know. You sell your time, you feel like a slave. It's horrible.
And when I see like, other successful editors like let's say you or other like best performing VP plus students, I thought like, fuck, what do they know that I don't? For them to like, let's say you to be averaging around like 1.5 grand per fucking video. I knew that the possibility always existed, but I didn't know like how. So yeah, that's really what kind of pushed me to, I guess, decide to get out of low ticket hell, basically. The possibility of knowing that better things exist and the struggle of being unsure with all of them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. What made you exactly to join the program? Like, was there a moment when you realized that I really need this?
It's hard to say for like my case because I've been following you for a while now in X, and I really like how you like understand things from head to toe about like the copywriting and the business side of things, which I resonated a lot. And when I found like your scroll, like the 2 grand per month, basically free package, I read through it and I was like, fuck, this guy's crazy. Because I understood some of the things that you mentioned in the scroll, like let's say the outreach method and the tactics. But what really impressed me in that scroll was when you mentioned about the snowball effect. That was something that I completely did not think about, and that I didn't even learn about in VP Plus either. How you're focusing on a niche and you can snowball it, and you can leverage that over like your new potential clients, and you can, build wealth from that alone.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I completely agree with you. So most people are like, they are thinking that I will make this job because it's the only job I have, like working for $50 per video or something like that. But what they don't realize is that they could invest that time into their personal brand or into outreach and evolve their skills, and eventually everything will snowball into having results and bringing clients in the future and basically making them being masters in the niche. Because that's why you must pick a niche. If you pick finance or if you pick another niche and you try to combine finance with gaming, you will get no results because you can transfer the skills. It's like different things, different facing, different animations. But what you do right now is mastering the niche you are in right now, and that's what you learned.
Every single, let's say, coaching call that we've had so far has been incredibly valuable for me specifically because the difference between your program and like I guess other people is that you very personalize every single problem and like your solutions to it obviously. And the coaching call, you also like personalize those too based on the information that you know about me, which I appreciate a lot. So for example, a mindset coaching program and then the copywriting coaching program, which you like leverage off of like what I knew before and how you would improve it if you were me basically.
It's really nice because you also apply the information of this is the biggest thing that someone must do when he joins any program or any he watches any course. It's like taking action, and this is why you have such results because you're an action taker. I can give you all the information, but you need to go out there and do the work. And it's really like in a video game, doing the missions, all of this stuff. I give you the roadmap, you have to put the work in. And this is what you are doing, and that's why you are crushing and you are destroying it. And you told me that when you joined, you learned about the warrior mindset. And how did that resonate with you at first? Because most people, when I say about mindset, they are like, I don't really care about mindset. It's not that important. But I think that it's the most important thing, honestly.
I can definitely answer that. Well, like most people, at first I was skeptical about this shit too. I'm not gonna
Same,
lie.
same. I will be honest,
Um,
same.
yeah, because like to be honest with you, when you first started off the coaching program with the mindset thing, I thought like, oh fuck, okay, I'll have to wait for this coaching call for like the next one to be actually valuable.
Yeah.
But when you started it off, I was genuinely impressed like how much work you put in the mindset program just to like bend my beliefs on what's possible. So I really appreciated that. And what I took out of that mindset program, it really depends on like what action you take and what limiting beliefs that you hold onto yourself that literally limits the things that you can do in real life.
Yep.
So I so far right now, I feel like the mindset program, despite common belief, has been the most pivotal program specifically because it's what really pushed me to take so much action in such a short amount of time that has led to like great results so far.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I remember you told me that the mindset that you had shifted actually in the idea that you realized that you can charge way more for your projects and you are just a human and everyone is a human and basically you can do something that everyone else has done in the past.
For sure, 100%. Because like I was a fan of let's say Joe, one of the best performing students in VP Plus. It's gonna take like months, a year at least to reach his level, stuff like that. And then after the coaching program, Specifically where the part where you mentioned, you're just human, something that like Marcus Aurelius' slave who always like
That's my
whispers in his ear that you're just a
yeah.
man, you're just human. So I thought like fuck, and I thought like okay, if Ja is just a human, I'm just a human. That means it's achievable, right? If he works, let's say 12 hours per day, I can speed track that by working fucking 14 to 16 hours per day and reach his level in like a week or like a month or something like that. At least like put in the input to see like what gets out. Before the mindset program, I'm aware that I was like some sort of an action taker, but that mindset program was basically a steroid injection in my.
That's crazy. You took action, massive action. You got the results in a really fast time frame. I remember that it was 7 days, even 6 days actually, because you joined on Sunday and the next Saturday morning for me, you let me know about the fact that you closed 2 clients in literally just one day. How much were you making before joining, and how much are you making now? And how fast did you achieve the result?
So before I joined your program, I was basically at zero. I lost my biggest paying client. So before I joined your program, it was zero. And then in literally a matter of a week, I am now at 4.6 grand per month. And these two clients that I found, you can say it's high ticket, but I would say it's an infinite growth potential partners. These people are really needing my help right now, which I identified through the outreach program. So I can easily scale these people up to like let's say 7 grand per month in a month. But for now, I'm at 4.6 minimum.
That's insane. Can you walk us through what happened? How did you land them? Like,
Literally, like you said, a few days after I joined your program, and I just applied the warrior mindset, by the way. Like, that's when I really dialed in. So, what happened with my first client? He owns an educational company in Australia. How I landed this client was just purely using your scroll and using your
that's
school
awesome.
and the mindset thing, and how you were helping me on the DMs as well, how I would
Mhm.
find clients, stuff like that, even before we had that client acquisition program. But yeah, even with just the mindset thing alone has already like gained me like my biggest paying client already, which is insane. And for my second client, it was an e-com brand, and that's when I first applied your outreach system. You would really go down the rabbit hole of researching people, tailoring every single message to them, and how we can actually help them. I also want to mention that it wasn't just your mindset program that helped me land my first client. It was actually our
Mhm.
first call to ever.
The discovery call.
Yeah, it was a free call that really shifted a lot of things in my career as well.
I remember you told me that this is the biggest value I got in the last 3 months after we finished that call, something like that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Absolutely. Because all of my doubts when it comes to like stuff that I learned from VP Plus or on YouTube has just been solidified by just one call alone, and you just went beyond that. On the discovery call, I thought that you were gonna gatekeep, but you did not at all, which I really appreciated a lot. Literally, after the mindset call, I just went back to our first call ever and just studied the shit out of it for like 3 hours straight, taking notes. And that call alone has already like propelled me to extended levels, you know? So yeah, that's kind of like how I landed my first 3 grand per month client and then my next 1.6 grand per month client, which both are super scalable.
That's literally what hard work does. You applied, you took action, and you already have the results in less than 7 days. You have all the information, but I really want to praise that about you. You are the biggest action taker I ever talked with in this program, and I'm really proud of that. Honestly, like you, the results people don't understand, and some of the people in general don't realize that the results come based on the input. That's all you need to think about, and
Yeah,
that's crazy.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and the thing is like I'm not praising your warrior mindset, the program for like just for the sake of praising. It's actually true because how it actually benefited me because I imagine you as basically my accountability partner, which you were actually on the DMs and stuff like that. And I thought like, okay, if we're gonna have coaching calls every single week, then I have to at least come back with some sort of output for Haddad. Yeah, because you're a fucking G. I want to be a G too. So,
Yeah,
so I thought like, okay, if I want to gain some sort of respect from a G like himself or something like that, I need to come back with some sort of fucking output that we can work on and we can improve. I have only 35 days left to fucking escape from this bullshit internship thing. So yeah, that's basically like the mindset that I always have, and I try my best to come back with some sort of result for you to like, for us to celebrate with, basically.
and in this program, I teach you about how to use pain, right, the pain of the people in sales to effectively and ethically close them.
Of course, of course. I would love to talk about sales calls because that's like my favorite thing. What really shifted my mindset in these sales calls was when we were chatting in the DMs, and I really needed your help on closing this big ass client. I wanted to close this 3 grand per month client. Not even 3 grand per month, 3 grand per project. And in 2 weeks, I made that 3 grand easy.
Easy.
And I'm expected to make more by the end of this 2 weeks or something like that. So about the sales call, in the DMs alone, you shifted my perspective entirely about the sales calls. Because back then I thought like, oh shit, I need to learn some tricks. I need to learn some, basic maneuvers around like the sales calls and stuff like that, twisting their pain points and stuff like that. But in the DMs, you literally just told me like, look, there are no tricks, there are no pitch, there's no BS in this thing.
Exactly.
You're literally just helping them. The discovery call is basically just to realize their pain points, and your job there is just to make them remember why they're on the discovery call in the first place. You gotta shift your mindset away from the pricing point and back to the main reason why you two are on the call in the first place. So at the time when I was texting you, I was like, shit, crazy. Because it's true. Because I imagine myself as the prospect. And I think I would really appreciate it if a person just really cared about my problems before I do. That's what really pivoted my perspective in sales call and literally landed my biggest client in just the DMs alone. And the funny thing is, because your text, I'm not like trying to like overpraise you or anything, but it's actually true. In the DMs, I literally screenshotted 9 photos of like chunks of your texts, and I just put them all on a Google Docs. And literally on the sales call, I had your text like on the side, and I was just reading like step by step by step like what I need to do, and that just literally made the process a lot easier, right? And just hella crushed it, dude, like for real.
So I wanted to ask you if you can share any memorable advice or feedback that made a difference or closed your client, but I can see that you used all the advice to close the client, so I don't have to ask you that.
Yeah, I used all of them. But I guess for newcomers, if there's any advice that you can get out of, I guess, sales calls and advice from this coaching program is you really gotta focus on their problems because how I did it on my first big paying client was I literally took note of every single pain point that that person could possibly have. I literally have a full Google Docs of it, and I just twisted as many pain points in that Google
Nice.
Doc as possible. As if like I was twisting a knife in their chest, basically.
And you do that in order to help them basically because that's your purpose. And you've done this in the best way possible. I mean, that's the best way of applying the information, and that's the best way of closing them. But or how did the coaching program help you overcome the doubts that you have?
Advice on that is to literally destroy all limiting beliefs that you possibly can have on yourself because you're just human. Every other fucking celebrity or people who you look up to or study from, to improve, you're still just human too. So that's If I can give you one advice and one thing that you can get out of the coaching program, for me personally, it's you're human, they're human. It's achievable, literally.
And that,
Yeah.
by the way, again, is in the mindset call, which is the most overlooked of them all.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. So in the mindset coaching call, it was phrased a little differently. You told me about the story about Marcus Aurelius and his slave, about his slave always whispering in his ear about like how you're just a man, stuff like that. I kind of personalized it and just changed it up a bit by you're just human, basically, because it just sounded better in my ear specifically.
This can be looked at from the bad side or from the good side. In the good side, you are just human and you can achieve everything that everyone else has achieved. But some people look at the bad side of it like you're limited. But you can actually use that bad side in your advantage as you do, because you told me I look at other people and I realize that they are also humans and they can overwork me all of the time. And they can become better than me because they're just human. I am human, so I have to put way more work in. Basically, you are using the good side and the bad side in order to level up way more.
And I obviously still keep that mindset 24/7, obviously. That's something that's really powerful for me deeply, to be honest, because I'm still striving towards, reaching the levels of people who I always analyze and study to reach newer heights. It's like Yamcha studying Goku, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's not limiting at all. It's still possible.
Of course it is. I mean, Yamcha survived the fucking time chamber where Vegeta trained. I mean, he did that. He's a human, right? So it's like you can do that as well. You are human, but you can evolve, have unlimited potential that you can achieve. And you showed that by going from zero to literally 5K in one week. How did that change your mindset or approach? How did that gave you confidence for other clients now?
Well, the funny thing is, I got pissed in that week because when I was looking back, I thought like, shit, this thing is possible in a week. How did I not find out about this earlier? I was so
Exactly.
pissed off about like, my previous work ethic, and I was just pissed off how this can become a reality.
If you were angry when you realized that you could have done this for so long, just imagine me, who I was actually never thinking of working as a video editor, and for one entire year, I was trying to grow a YouTube channel. I had a Fiverr account, as you remember, struggling in the low ticket hell, getting $20 per video. When I realized that I also need to get mentorship from other people, and I joined multiple communities and I learned multiple books on the subject, I realized just like you that after one entire year of doing that, I could have done this so fucking earlier.
So, any advice to any newcomers to Haddad's coaching program? If you want to see like immense results like I do, because I'm just human and it's possible for you too, prepare yourself to put in immense amount of work and just see results after that. You got Haddad as your partner from head to toe. You just gotta put in the work. You just gotta like dial in and just focus on that one goal, and it's possible. It's possible. Like even now, I'm still very, very confident in what I can do in like a matter of like 2 weeks later. Because the best thing that I got out from these past 2 weeks is knowing that I can do this all over again if I lost everything, you know? Because back then I was scared as hell of losing that 2 grand per month client, which it actually happened. That bumped me out a lot. But now I have all the skills that I have acquired that I need, and I really do not give a shit anymore if I lose these two clients. I know for a fact I can take on more, and I can take on higher levels basically. So that's like the most comforting and most, you know, relieving thought that I have in my mind right now is that I can do it again at any time I want. And if I lost everything tomorrow in the editing career, I can always bounce back easy. Just give me a little bit of time and a little bit of sleep, and I can just bounce back whenever I want. And that's the most relieving thought that I can ever have right now.
And this makes you invincible. I mean, I know that you landed the third client, but to just drop that guy because you didn't understand with him, even after parting the ways with that guy, you are still at $4,600 per month. What would you say would be the one or two strategies that helped you consistently in landing clients and keeping them at the same time, because also keeping the high ticket clients is a big pain in the ass. You have to do a lot of stuff to keep them. It's like everyone thinks I will land a big high ticket client, but how do we keep that client? What were the strategies that helped you to land them?
So how I keep my clients right now is I just keep them very updated, like fucking constantly updated on the progress of the videos, and just be a professional in the professional workplace because I realize that I'm working with high level people basically, and what they're expecting from me, literally from the sales call, is that I have to be a professional too. So one of the keys to being this level is just being communicative, keeping them constantly updated. Because imagine, let's say you're in a train station, right? Would you rather be in a train station that does not alarm you like 2 minutes before your next train comes? Or would you rather be in a train station that constantly updates you, like, oh, your train is arriving in 2 minutes, your train is arriving in 5 minutes, or even your train is arriving in 10 minutes? I think everyone would definitely rather be in the second train station,
Exactly.
right? High ticket people are also the same in that way. They
Yeah.
need to be constantly updated. You need to be there for them. You need to input your attention to them and attention to the product as well. So yeah, that's what's been working really well for me. And aside from that, obviously, over delivering is also a key thing as well. Keeping them constantly updated and also just being like a genuinely pleasant person to work with.
Awesome. 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 And about landing clients?
But landing clients, the main thing that I got out of your coaching program is how important lead flow is.
Mm.
You always have to do outreach and building your brand no matter what. How I land my clients is basically just tailoring every single outreach email to that specific prospect because I really liked how you described evoking emotions and feelings onto the prospect for every single email. But how I do it, I know for a fact that a lot of my competition, let's say, in the editing space, they can't really communicate well, and I can leverage off that fact by just mass producing Loom videos and just making myself different. So basically, I implemented your framework in the emails, but I just made it for myself. And for inbound specifically, on our very first call, you told me about how important scheduling and making specific kinds of posts with intention all the time. So you mentioned about brand posts, value posts, and before and afters, which are literally your advertisements. So I literally followed every single one of them. And because I was speed tracking, I was speed running and stuff like that, I, instead of spreading out those posts throughout the week, I just do all of them every single day, like just 3 posts a day, and I just tried to bring results, and it did. Like I just went from fucking I was at 310 followers before I started, and now I'm at 963 followers. Yeah, because of that massive input. But you just basically follow a good framework, a proven strategy. Your input equals X amount of output.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how would you describe the coaching program to someone who wants to join but think it's most likely generic advice, like something that can be found on the internet?
So my advice to newcomers, if you ever
Yeah.
think that it's, you know, common advice, like fucking Ty Lopez's coaching program or whatever, is my advice to you is just literally just visit Haddad's Twitter profile. You'll see that he's an actual expert. You'll see that he actually genuinely cares about like his mentees and stuff like that. Literally just read his scroll and be mind blown by how much value is in that. You can literally just speed track to 2 to 3 grand per month if you apply the information and put in the work. That alone in itself is already incredibly valuable. I guarantee you that once you finish reading that scroll, you will be very convinced that Haddad is like a G. So if anyone is doubting about Haddad's coaching program, trust me, just read his profile, just read his scroll, and you'll be convinced, just like how I was. If there's another thing that would convince you into joining this program is Haddad will make sure to personalize your own struggles and solve them with you along the way too. So it's not anything generic, it's very tailored to you too.
That's great. That's great, honestly. So you recommend the scroll and you love it. I remember when I wrote it, I was thinking, okay, I will just give all the information away. I don't care. I just want to help people. That's how I made it. And I just gave all the information. And someone actually messaged me about the scroll as well, multiple people. But the biggest person got, like, his name is Alejandro, and he got $2,500 per month in less than 30 days. And what's funny is that he only applied the information inside of the scroll. So as you say, just to give credibility to what you say, if you just read the scroll alone and apply the information, you will get the results. The coaching is personalized help one-on-one so that I show you and help you one-on-one with applying the information so that you get the results even faster in a shorter time frame and without having to go through all the pain I had to go when I was back in the day and trying to figure everything on my own. What would you say was the biggest factor that helped you scale so rapidly?
Well, one of the things is also input in the work that I do,
Yeah,
which we have already extensively discussed.
yeah,
But
true.
in your coaching program specifically, what helped me scale so fast was how you can decipher which person is the perfect fit to work with you. I'm pretty sure a lot of editors can relate to me as well, is that I was pretty much a bitch to every single prospect that I get to work with. What you really taught me is to raise your standards up in terms of client acquisition. Create your own custom avatar, the perfect fit to work with you because you do not want to waste time with people who undervalue you, basically. So that's what really changed my mindset in client acquisition. And I formed a Dream 100 list of my dream clients. I call it the upgraded version from VP Plus because now all 100 of them are literally my dream clients, not just in numbers wise, but also in character wise too. Because character is extremely important to securing a client right now because you want them to be loyal to you, you want them to respect you as a person too for the input that you put in. And yeah, that's really what shifted my career. Finding the right people will propel your numbers. Believe it or not, it does.
What has changed in your life since hitting these numbers?
So it's it's quite it's quite awesome to be honest with you. But the best thing that I got out of this is the freedom of the mind, basically. Because now I know for a fact that I can literally just make money out of thin air if I wanted to. And that's one of the most relieving things that I have in my mind right now.
You are not in that pain anymore in the mind where you are thinking that, what if I lose everything? I can relate to the relief that you feel right now. Yeah. What's the biggest difference between Derek, who was struggling to land clients in the low ticket hell 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Derek now? What's the biggest difference between these two persons?
The biggest difference is the knowledge that I have right now. There's such a big gap in knowledge that I have right now compared to Derek Wynn from fucking 2 weeks ago. And the relentless action that I'm taking right now after that injected steroid mindset coaching call. So yeah, it's knowledge and action. Imagine yourself as like, having Elon Musk's knowledge on like Rocketeer. NASA would really love that if they put in the
Exactly.
same work as Elon, because Elon back then was just a computer nerd like me, basically.
Like
But
us.
he just, yeah, like us. But he just put in so much relentless action that he just basically fucking surpassed NASA, of an over 50-year-old company, by the way, and he just did it in like what, fucking 10 years. So yeah, that's what relentless action and the right information can get you.
Yeah, being stuck in with bad clients is what I like to call the low ticket hell, as you already know. But what advice do you have for editors or for beginners who are afraid to invest in themselves or afraid to take the next step because they might lose something?
So my advice to editors is you gotta understand that education is the a literal cheat code to progression. So basically, before I was on Haddad's coaching program, I was struggling for 3 months straight of in the low ticket hell. If you want to speed track your progress and you want to ensure that you come out as someone who can always bounce back anytime that they want, then you have a dad to help you out with that, basically.
That's great. And where do you see yourself going from here? Like, what's the next step for you? And
So now I don't really like to have any limiting beliefs anymore, but I can set a minimum goal for sure. So I'm aiming to hit about, let's say, 7 to 8 grand per month in the next 2 weeks. That's like a minimum goal for me. And once I do, I'll try my best to establish like a full-scale agency. And I'm pretty fucking sure that I can get to that level because we're not even finished with the coaching program yet. And I've already speed tracked so much progress in just 2 programs alone. And I'm just so fucking excited for the remaining 3.
is there something else you'd like to share about your journey or experience with the program?
Yeah, of course. So one of the things that you can really get out of this coaching program is the lead flow. I'll just quickly run through the progress and give people like a visual representation in their heads of the progress that I've made throughout every single coaching call. So basically, on our first call, the discovery call with the knowledge that I've obtained from your scroll, I had the ability to get to 2 to 3 grand per month, basically. And at the time, I imagined myself like a little pistol, basically, you know, getting lethal damage, but not in the range where it would make immense amount of damage, basically. On our first mindset coaching call, I became a glass cannon, you know, of offense all the time. It was hella strong. I was really happy about it basically because all the input that I put in, all the knowledge that I have, it's just massive offense. And then on the second call, when we had that client acquisition call and also a mix between sales and the DMs, I viewed myself as like, okay, now I've become like an actual cannon now. It's not just a glass cannon anymore. I have substance behind like my systems. I have concrete solutions to my problems right now. I can always pull up the Google Doc sheet that I have that I've learned from Haddad's coaching call. So it's very consistent in terms of skills and leads too. And now, literally yesterday, we finished a coaching call about branding, stuff like that. I don't even know what kind of cannon there is that's bigger than the cannon I know now, but it's bigger for sure. So that's how you can view my progress in the most simple way possible, from a pistol to a glass cannon to a cannon to now like a fucking tank or something like that.
So, where can people find you? Are you looking into opening a YouTube channel in the future? Are you looking into sharing your knowledge or just on Twitter for now?
I'm just mainly focused on Twitter because I want to build like a proper solid brand on Twitter first. But I am planning to open up a YouTube channel pretty soon. I'm just gonna inject some of my knowledge into YouTube. I'll tell people like what my systems are and how I've implemented it. And yeah, that's my plan for now. But you can find me on Derek Win on X, and I'll happy to connect with you anytime.
That's great. That's great. You are crushing it, keep applying the information. You will make tens of thousands of dollars soon because you are an action taker. And taking action is the most important thing ever, ever. So thank you for everything. Thank you for your time and thank you for the interview and good job on everything.
Of course, and thank you too, dude.